due to 3 key factors: weakening Tonton Batuz's Medicham, protecting his Galarian Stunfisk,
It happened! Oh my goodness, what a swap! And I said it earlier, it could come down to a sacrificial swap. That was absolutely beautiful, saving all the energy on Galarian Stunfisk.
and aligning his Galarian Stunfisk versus Tonton Batuz's Shadow Dragonair. For Game 2, Tonton Batuz benches his Shadow Charizard in response to the Shadow Swampert and Galarian Stunfisk from Game 1. Nezabethan selects the same team, while Tonton Batuz chooses the more flexible team of Shadow Dragonair, Medicham, and Lickitung. Tonton Batuz leads Shadow Dragonair and uses a Protect Shield to KO Nezabethan's Medicham and control switch advantage. He aligns his Medicham against Galarian Stunfisk and uses his Lickitung to absorb Shadow Swampert's energy. Tonton Batuz's adjustments win him Game 2. In Game 3, Tonton Batuz repeated his Game 2 lineup, while Nezabethan selected a team of Altaria, Medicham, and Galarian Stunfisk. Tonton Batuz takes a Protect Shield early, then switches to his Lickitung to lure out Nezabethan's Medicham. Tonton Batuz makes a spectacular catch!
To catch the charge move on a site. Well, it doesn't matter what it is. They're going to go ahead and let it go through on the Dragonairs. This is going to be taking it out. Yeah,
But the true skill is his recognition that the Galarian Stunfisk would be Nezabethan's 3rd Pokemon. Tonton Batuz wins Game 3. In this series, Tonton Batuz neutralized Nezabethan's Shadow Swampert, while Nezabethan overcorrected for Shadow Charizard and was unable to contain his opponent's Shadow Dragonair. Nezabethan's best answer to Shadow Dragonair was his Galarian Stunfisk, so Tonton Batuz was able to consistently predict it. Neither trainer had a Ghost-type Pokemon, making Medicham a safe choice for both competitors. Tonton Batuz's team of 6 pressured Nezabethan to keep his Altaria and Noctowl on the bench until it was too late in the series. Throughout a best-of-3 series, making predictions and adjustments are key. Pay special attention to player tendencies like overcharging, switch timing, shield deployment, and Pokemon usage. Some trainers choose their team of 3 Pokemon conservatively, while others like to take more risk. The most elite trainers do 3 things very well. First, build a team of 6 Pokemon that is well balanced and versatile. Second, change their Pokemon selection and macro strategy from game to game to avoid becoming too predictable. And third, influence which Pokemon and strategies their opponent chooses throughout the series. Well, that's all from me. Best of luck in your future matches, and I'll see you next time.
Welcome back, trainers. We are here in Yokohama, Japan. prevalence in the meta, being able to take out Noctowl typically with 2 Hydro Cannons and the Mudshot damage adding up, but needing 3 with the non-Shadow. Now, we're in a Shadow Charizard meta where the non-Shadow Swampert actually does much better into that flying Pokemon. So a really great heads-up adjustment from some of these players, and only to expect from the best, right?
No, absolutely. Our SME backstage, Amanda Lundberg, actually pointed it out that Inadequance made that shift just for that reason, because you need to be stronger against the Shadow Charizard. Because believe it or not, Shadow Charizard is a Shadow Swampert counter if you have Protect Shields up, because the Wing Attack plus Dragon Claw damage you slightly outpace, and you win Charge Attack priority on that third attack, and you'll be able to knock out there. So now going for the regular Swampert, and we have our next matchup available on stage. I believe this is going to be Scaffo versus It's Axen. It's Axen, one of the most dominant players in Pokemon Go Championship Series history, making 7 straight top cuts and just missing it at the North American International Championship. So he wants to bounce back here in Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, you know, talk about one of the best trainers in Worlds, but also facing against one of the best trainers in Europe. Scaffo placing pretty high up in the Europe International Championships. I believe 5th place, qualifying for World Championships with that cascading invite, but also a trainer that you see a lot in the Go Battle League leaderboards as well. So 2 very high-level trainers. I expect to see a lot of great plays from these 2, and I have no idea who's going to take it.
And you know, the European International Championships is actually a good indicator for where you are right now, because actually 18 out of the 25 competitors from the European region that qualified for the World Championships competed at EUIC, and Scaffo got 5th place, so he's doing quite well. And we're into this matchup, and this is not what Scaffo wants to see, so instantly pivoting into Lantern. There's no clear answer, so looks like It's Axen just going to stay in with this Shadow Lone Sandslash, because you got super effective Drill Run now. This is not a bad matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Alolan Sandslash, it has the benefit of being able to beat Lantern, especially in the 1 and 2 shield scenario, without even needing some baits. That recent buff to Drill Run makes it so strong, especially when you don't have that matchup locked into it. And I think it looks like that Drill Run is going to connect and actually catching the Surf on Axen's own Lantern. What a great catch there.
Yeah, that is perfect there for It's Axen to take that not very effective damage and waste all that energy. And crucially, I think It's Axen is poised to get a Spark down. Gonna have to take a Thunderbolt in the process, just barely hanging on to fire off that Thunderbolt, but this is huge. Energy on Lantern is very valuable, Caleb.
Yeah, it is, but you know, if any flying Pokemon can tank it, it is going to be Altaria, only taking neutral from that Thunderbolt damage. And I think Scaffold's probably not going to spend a single shield, because Ice Punch is enough to knock out probably 3 Altaria by itself. So going to let the Thunderbolt go and try to get as much energy as possible, but these Thunderbolts are starting to add up.
Yeah, and at this point, you're almost in danger of getting Fast Attack down. You're going to take this Thunderbolt. You're getting quite low. The Medicham is in the back, or you could go for a Shadow Claw down. Hopping into the Medicham, trying to get some sort of fast attack pressure, trying to get the counter down, doesn't quite succeed. It's Axen barely holds on to throw the Surf, and I believe the timer is up, but this counter might knock out that Lantern, and yes, it did.
Yeah, it does, but I like that play from Scaff. Because recognizing the switch timers are misaligned due to the prior catch from Axen, which means that able to lock in that Lantern into his own Medicham, and now Axen forces shield because you do not this Medicham on your Alolan Sandslash. But the thing is, that surf damage is so crucial because now you're coming close to being in Ice Punch range.
Going Psychic though, with 2 Protect Shields remaining. This is a little bit too much, but maybe trying to go for a debuff so Shadow Claw are super effective. Doesn't get that debuff. I mean, you are out of Ice Punch range, but a little bit too much damage going into 2 Protect Shields.
Yeah, I think Axon making kind of the call that Scaffold is smart enough to recognize and to get the defense drop
on the Medicham, and then we'll have to pivot out of this situation. So knocking out the Altaria. Here comes the Ice Punch right here into the Medicham, gonna pick up the Protect Shield. How much energy is on that Shadow Alolan Sandslash?
I don't think there's a ton of energy, but we're going to have to wait and see. I kind of lost track here too, but here comes the Alolan Sandslash. You have the Ice Punch
right away!
And getting the Ice Punch before the charge was thrown from Scaffold's side. Scaffold had to go for the Psychic because double resistant Ice Punch is not enough, and Axon going to take this first game off of Scaffold.
It's Axon bouncing back at the World Championships. The Shadow Alolan Sandslash. This Pokemon has had newly changed move in Drill Run, but It's Axon, doesn't matter, already has that Best Buddy ribbon. That is the It's Axon signature, to have a Best Buddy ribbon on every single Pokemon and comfortably taking out Scaffold in that first game. You know what's interesting is Altaria has kind of taken the place of Noctowl as the flyer choice when you look at the usage data, but Scaffold is actually just bringing both of them. But how advantageous was that to be able to bring in the Altaria and soak up all the Lantern energy? And
going to go for the full Dragon Breath down, but instead pivoting over to Medicham to put a little bit energy on that Medicham as well. It's going to go a little bit further. And here we get that replay and the great catch from Axon, predicting that serve, saving that shield for Alolan Sandslash later. Actually, I think it was even for the Medicham, and expending all that on the resisted catch. And then here, coming into the very end, you see one Shadow Claw away. Axon calculated, understanding that he's so close to that Ice Punch to take out the knockout. And Butters, let me give you a little recap here, because this is winners round 2 of World Championships. Winners round 1, Axon actually faced off against the reigning World Champion from the Seniors Division, Emi Weedo, 2-0 there. So definitely in fighting shape here. In top form, and then Scaffold beating Eduardo Lomas 2-0 in the first round too. So both trainers looking really good in round 1, and you know, even though Scaffold lost that first game in round number 2, it was still a back and forth all the way throughout, despite how bad that lead was.
Yeah, Axon hasn't dropped the game yet. And the thing that I'm noticing is it became very famous. Elite used it as well. You're very familiar with that team. Is this the exact same team? It's very close, right?
It's close. It's close. I think there was a Regiseal instead the Lantern, so there's only one steel type on Axon's team, but the Lantern actually looks a lot better in a lot of scenarios, mainly because of how strong Shadow Charizard is. You want to have multiple answers to that Shadow Charizard, and Lantern being much more reliable there. You know, as much as I hate to think about Shadow Alolan Sandslash, I gotta say it is so strong in this current meta. Yes, it's double weak to Medicham, one of the most top used Pokemon, but if you avoid that matchup, you should be really good. And here we go, Medicham mirror matchup to start off in game number 2.
And we're going to see a lot of Medicham Lantern cores because they are the two number 1 and 2 in usage in this tournament. Medicham number 1 by a mile, and then Lantern coming in number 2, trying to counter those Shadow Charizard. We don't know who wins charge attack priority. I'm not sure if this was the charge attack priority right here, but we don't know which Medicham does do it. And now we know, because not only did It's Axon win the charge attack priority, also got the defense drop.
Yeah, everything going in Axon's favor in the beginning, game number 2. No opposing defense drop, and now it knows he's not going to win charge priority, but on top, might knock out his Medicham.
Knock out a dominant victory. I guess the Best Buddy ribbon difference gave that Medicham pivot out into key meta shift here. It's almost all Galarian Stunfisk surpassed Regiseal and the Shadow Charizards.
Yeah, I think it's a good read from a lot of opponents, and this is kind of a clunky matchup too, because yes, Galarian Stunfisk has the type advantage, but if you don't land that Earthquake, you're not really getting much value out this. You can see even the electric Pokemon of Lantern with that water coverage can still chip away at the Splinter Stunfisk. Do you make this huge shield call? Axon does make the perfect shield call and shields that first pivotal Earthquake. Looks like Earthquake is going to be one much shot short before this serve. And you see Axon throwing on charge priority as well, trying to force Scaffold in a worse position.
Yeah, smart move there to try to force that charge attack priority. Doesn't get it because the Mudshot does go through. Here comes the Earthquake. 1 Protect Shield remaining, but Lantern's just so valuable. valuable. So using both Protect Shields into Earthquakes, really valuable Protect Shields for its action. The problem is, though, you can't Spark down. Do you ever pivot into Medicham or into Sableye? You don't want to take another Earthquake. Maybe you get the Protect Shield. I expect to pivot from its accent here if there is a Protect Shield by Scafo. And no, Scafo decides to just let the Glare and Stunfisk go.
Yeah, those are two huge back-to-back shields from Accent. Anytime you can shield a move that costs that much energy, it's going to put you so far ahead. And you see Accent throwing this Thunderbolt. Scafo doesn't know who's going to charge from priority here. So far, he's been losing charge from priority in every matchup we've seen. But this Lantern's going to have to carry Scafo really far. Has 3 Pokemon, has to take out by itself, and almost trying to catch a move on the Medicham. Not quite, though.
That Lantern is a menace. It's been on the field for like 2 minutes, it feels like, at this point. Here comes the Surf to knock out the Medicham. Bring that Lantern back in. There it comes. It's Accent. Keep this Lantern on the field for at least 3 minutes. There is the Thunderbolt energy throwing before the Thunderbolt is available, but I don't think Scafo's Thunderbolt would have knocked out, so it's not crucial here.
Yeah, but Accent winning charge for priority yet again. It is not working out so well for Scafo in these more attack
undercharge
heavy Lantern, and going for the undercharge. I like this play because look at the switch timer. Accent cannot swap out in the perfect undercharge to ensure that no additional charges is thrown, but you got a lot of work cut out for your Lantern because you need to throw at least probably 2 Thunderbolt. I don't think Thunderbolt and Surf is enough, but we're gonna have to wait and see.
I think it's gonna be really close. Here comes the Thunderbolt. I think it's gonna be so close, Caleb. He's gonna be at the Surf right here. You have to throw it. This has to be the biggest Surf of Scafo's Lantern's life. Can he secure the knockout and tie up the series? No! And now the foul play is gonna be coming through to secure the battle, and the 2-0 once again from its Accent.
Accent on fire here in Yokohama, Japan, trying to get some redemption after missing top cut in North America International Championships. He says the one thing he has remaining that he needs to achieve is that World Champion title, and he is back 2 years in a row here to try to claim that crown.
4-0 to start the Pokemon World Championships in Yokohama. And what I love about his team is the way he trained his Pokemon, because he is winning every single charge attack priority into win that is to train your Pokemon to have more of an attack than the other Pokemon, especially in those mirror matchups. It can be crucial. How many times did you see the Medicham winning charge attack priorities, the Lantern winning charge attack priorities? And when the usage is 85% Medicham and over 50% usage for Lantern, you're going to see it a ton. So the fact that you have that little advantage could be a reason that he's already 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to some competitors last night, and a lot of them were saying, hey, I just made a whole new Medicham just for this event, right? I made a new Sableye just for this because they're trying to get that little competitive edge over their opponents, and you really can't tell who's going to win charge for priority a lot of these times because the combat power doesn't really tell too much. Yes, you see it's close to 1500 or it hits that 1500 cap, but it could be very highly attack weighted and going to win charge for priority every time, or it could be a lot more bulk weighted, able to tank a little bit more damage.
Yeah, and it's really crucial to how you want to play the game, especially in the back. When you get to the in game and you're saving charge attacks and you know you'll lose charge attack priority in the in, you can't really do that as easily. So if you play these Pokemon with the higher attack, then you can save those charge attacks and you're able to use them in the in game, which can be extremely useful. It's Accent just dominant so far. Like I said, one of the most dominant players in Pokemon Go Championship history. And here is the Medicham throwing that Psychic and getting the defense drop. So not only did he get the charge attack priority win, he also got that crucial defense drop there.
Yeah, I mean, in Pokemon Go PvP, it takes a lot.
And it seems like it's Accent's Lantern was in 4 of those replays because he was just on the field for so double protect shielding those earthquakes, which was crucial because you had to protect remaining. Oftentimes, trainers will bait with the rock. I feel like recently we've seen more baits than ever, and then now that we're here in the 2023 World Championships, these trainers are being a little more conservative. They know they're playing the best of the best, and if you make a wrong move on a bait call, it can flip the entire matchup. So they're just playing safer with the earthquakes, and it's Accent called it perfectly.
Yeah, you can see even that second game too, Scaffold being very conservative and not throwing the charge moves right away against Accent, expecting Accent to make some catch plays, and Accent was doing exactly that. So there's a lot of high-level game and gameplay from both trainers, right? Trying to anticipate each other's moves, knowing that the opponents knows certain things and trying to
You can clean up over here, so make sure to trade those if you have them. But we were both kind of close, kind of in between.
Yeah, I think I take the win on that one because you're the electric expert, right? So you not getting it right is just a point for me, essentially.
Well, you know, all right. Well, we'll have to go. You're the Bastion expert, the steel expert. So maybe we'll have a steel Pokedex entry next time. Oh, here it is. It can fly in spite of its big in bulky physique. It circles the globe in just 16 hours.
16 hours. Oh, all right. You want to go first?
No, you go first.
I got this, right? Don't copy my answer.
Okay.
I'm going with Dragonite.
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 Oh, that's so good.
Right?
That's
pretty
so good.
Big, not the biggest wings, but pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that is a top-notch answer. I think I'm gonna double down with it. I think it's Dragonite. I think you're just right. I think you're right. I think you were actually right. I remember.
I should have gone second.
Yeah, I think you are right.
Here we go.
Well, I'm glad that at least I was confident enough to also think it was Dragonite, but that was a great call. 16 hours. That's pretty useful.
16 hours. That's pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from North America.
Yeah, exactly. And the entire world. So that's really impressive. Awesome. Well, that was fun. We got another one. It doesn't feel full unless it eats.
I mean, I range.
Slacking, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe slacking.
That's gonna be Snorlax. There we go.
Yes.
Snorlax, enjoy it. Man, look at that. Berries. So many berries, you can barely even carry all of them.
One of my favorite Pokemon, Snorlax. I love it. And yeah, just snacking down there. Only wakes up to eat. We got one more left in this Pokedex entry. I think we're doing pretty good.
This is gonna be a tiebreaker.
I think we're doing pretty good. We got 2 points. Even if we're 50-50, even if we lose this, I feel great. What appears to be an iron helmet is actually hardened hair. This Pokemon lives for the thrill of the battle.
All right, you go first.
What believes to be an iron helmet is actually hardened hair. I'm gonna guess like Pawniard. This Pawniard, I'm gonna guess Pawniard because maybe the helmet is actually hardened hair. So that's my official guess.
Wait. I'm going to go with what's Pawniard's?
Are you trying to go Bishop?
I'm going to go Bishop. I'm going to go big. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, big brother here.
I'm taking half credit if that's correct. I'm taking half credit.
I don't think that's how it works. All right, let's take a look at the answer. Let's see. I think that was a good one though.
Oh, Berserker! No way! Our producer is going to be flaming right now because this is his favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
This actually does make sense because this does look more like hair than Pawniard's helmet, I would say. So
that's true.
Berserker would have been the guess. Oh, we should have known it was Berserker, Caleb.
We should have known. Yeah, definitely lives for a thrill of battle, dealing out a lot of heavy damage there. I actually was going to guess Annihilate. One of the newer Pokemon released.
That's actually very good too.
But then once I heard your answer, I was like, I gotta go. Take a peek at your homework.
You were impressed with my answer, so you have to.
Not as impressed right now though. After realizing it was wrong, but
that's okay. I was feeling good then. But hey, 2 for 4, we'll take that. 50%. That was a fun game. I hope you enjoyed that as well. And it's been a fun competition so far. It's so crazy. I mean, we know it's the World Championships, but every time you just go through the bracket and you're like, my goodness, you see what the matchups are and throughout the day. It's all the heroes of the season, all of the amazing trainers that were a part of the Road to Worlds are all battling it out here. And what's crazy is some of these really talented trainers are going to go 0-2, right?
Yep.
That's the insane part about it. I think that's what you were mentioning too. You could have competed if you didn't know. Caleb qualified twice to be able to compete here, but decided to cast because he was saying, look, how bad would it be to go 0-2 at Worlds?
Yep. It's very possible too with the high level competition here. You know, we shared a lot of our thoughts, but we want to hear your thoughts. If you're using hashtag Pokemon Worlds, let us know if you're in the venue, what you're thinking, or even at home. I think we might even have some tweets we can share right now and on future parts of this broadcast. But, you know, amazing venue here, but those tuning at home are probably watching and enjoying it as well.
Yeah, who do you think is going to win? Do you have any wild cards? How is the experience in Yokohama? How is it back home watching it? Are you getting those Twitch drops? Are you participating right now? Are you getting those championship items with the code? Let us know on hashtag Pokemon Worlds because we would love to feature you. It's so amazing to have everyone be a part of the World Championships, not just the competitors, not just the commentators and everyone working on this amazing project, but everyone watching at home. So we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I believe earlier I heard that we're over 20,000 live audience viewers on Twitch. And, you know, certain parts of the world are not even awake yet, so they might be tuning in later when they wake up or even for the rebroadcast. So love to see people tuning in, whether it's your first World Championships, your second, or if you've just been watching Pokemon Go PvP the entire time since its release. We're happy to have you.
And I believe we have 20,000 spectators here as well.
Yes.
So those numbers are getting pretty big, and the competition is moving along right now. We're still in the early stages. We've had some second round winners matchups, and we're just going through. Once again, we have multiple games here. We don't just have Pokemon Go. You're watching on the Pokemon Go channel. Of course, there's Pokemon VGC, TCG, and Pokemon Unite, which really gets the crowd hyped from time to time.
Yeah, and speaking about a hype crowd, we're going to start building some hype for our upcoming matchup, and it's going to be a good one as you see these trainers are preparing for their battle on stage.
Yeah, so I believe this is going to be El Shea versus Rioa, two trainers that I have as well throw the last resort. It does slightly more damage than foul play. No pivot here. Looks like Mikey is just gonna let the Umbreon go down and just bring in his own Medicham. So that means that Shadow Alolan Ninetales has that